Hello, world! A wonderful day to all of you. Welcome to the Institute of Global Professionals. Thank you for joining us for another live session of free international webinar here in IGP. My lovely audience, I am Marbet from the Philippines and I am honored to be your host for the day. I am so glad to be with you once again in this virtual world. If there is a thing that we should be thankful about during this pandemic period, I think it is the opportunity that it provides for us to gather virtually through this international webinar brought to us by Institute of Global Professionals or IGP. I hope that everyone will stay with us until the end of the program because we have a lot of things in store for you today. Here in IGP webinars, you do not just listen to our speakers, but we encourage your participation through our quiz competition and the Q&A part of our program. In our quiz competition, the top 10 participants will receive the quiz completion certificate that is right after the event. Then it will be followed by the Q&A part where everyone will have the opportunity to interact with speakers or with our speaker by sending in your question in the comment section below. During the program, there will be questions flashed on your screen that will allow you to interact or share your idea about the topic being discussed. In the latter part of the program, we will give you the certification code and the certification process on how you can generate or auto-download your e-certificate. With this, everybody is encouraged to stay with us until the end of the program because a lot of exciting things awaits us today. I am sure all of us will have many e-takeaway and payoffs from this webinar, only from IGP. I'm proud to tell you that every day many new participants are joining with us. So let me give you a little background about IGP. The Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institution which provides social work. We believe that it is not effective to increase one's skill by just acquiring formal education. So we provide training and consultation to generate a proficient generation through webinars, trainings, offline and online courses with best speakers and highly trained coaches from all over the world to cater you with the best learning platform. I'm proud to inform you that IGP is an ISO certified training and education institute. We are internationally recognized and globally accredited. IGP is your trusted platform to learn new things from the global leading leaders. We are the leading online skill development institution with thousands of learners worldwide. Our mission is to empower people and enhance their skills through webinars, and we are committed to serve. We wish that you remain with us in this long journey. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the Institute of Global Professionals Free International Webinar. Once again, I am Maribeth, a core volunteer of IGP from the Philippines. I am so privileged to host today's webinar. With this, I would like to say let's watch together and learn together. We believe that the power is gained by sharing knowledge and not by hoarding it. And did you know that as of yesterday, we have already successfully completed 120 webinars in various topics of your interest? All of these are available in our website, that is www.eduigp.com. Again, that is www.eduigp.com. Feel free to access them anytime. We expect that all of you are getting a little bit benefited both in your personal and professional life. From time to time, you may like, share, tag your friends, and write your comments. Share us how you feel about IGP and what you think about IGP. You may also share us how IGP is being helpful to you both in your personal and professional development. And also, don't hesitate to ask questions or write feedback. You may also give us suggestions that will help us innovate the program in the comments section below. All of these will be greatly appreciated. Please support us by liking and subscribing to IGP Facebook page, Facebook group, and YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the bell button below to be notified with our live streaming every day. Before proceeding to our program for today, please allow me give me a few minutes to greet some of our active participants here in IGP every night. Greetings to Ma'am Evelyn Waperi. She's really a very active participant and always present. To Jenny Chris Ballesteros, hello. To Aurea Bonitas, hello, ma'am. To Jubilin and Salazar, and also hi to Alex Javier Alvarez. Also to Gemma Rivera, and also hello to Avril Brilta. And greetings also to Roldan Pomilar, and also to Nigina Misirova. Hello, Mr. Lamberto Pilatan. Hello to Jocelyn Maala. And also to Anne Gabrielle Gulinao. Greetings to all the active participants and consistent participants of our daily webinar. Happy watching, everyone. And also to those names that I was not able to read. Hello to all of you. So, without further ado, let's start our program with the IGP's mantra, feed your skills, innovate, inspire, impact. For today, we are presenting webinar 321 on innovations through education. And today we have a brilliant speaker from South Africa, none other than Miss Sarisha Ramesh Lal Komal. At this moment, I would like to invite her on screen. Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing awesome, and I'm so looking forward to this presentation.
Well, yes, we're so happy and we're so excited today to hear from you about innovations through educations. Before you proceed with your presentation, you may also share something about yourself first, and then you may go on with your presentation.
Hello, everyone. I am an education specialist, and the bottom line in terms of how I live is through a very strong and a positive mindset. So I believe in being the change you want to see in the world, and I try to practice that in my daily life, and most especially in all aspects of the education field. So I'm hoping that you are going to appreciate my perspective of the topic today, and that you and I are going to be able to share and learn and really enjoy a very deep connection this fine 14th of January 2022.
Okay, your topic today is very interesting and I think it is very timely. Ma'am, you may start sharing your screen.
Thank you, Ms. Meredith.
I could see your screen now, but please put it in presentation mode.
Can you see my PowerPoint now?
Yes, ma'am, that's good. Well, take it away, Ma'am Sarisha. The audience is yours.
Thank you very much. Greetings, respected colleagues from around the globe. And from the outset, I want to say a special thank you to the Institute of Global Professionals for this wonderful invitation, especially because your motto is based on innovation, inspire, and impact. Three words that I love to be able to put into practice in my personal life. I want to say thank you to the Global Institute. I'm very honored today to be able to share this platform with each and every one of you watching from all parts of the world on the topic innovation through education. I would like to inform you that it is clearly from my ongoing researched experiences and perspective that I have found useful in the past 26 years of being in education. So I wish you well, and I wish myself well as we journey through this presentation. Respected colleagues, I want to start by informing you that I was recently part of a panel discussion, and the audience who was part of the panel discussion had to give input on every speaker by ringing a bell. I want to warn you right at the beginning that if the presentation was excellent, you got 3 bells. And if your presentation was good, then the speakers got 2 bells. And if your presentation was poor or okay, you got 1 bell. Loving global participants, I want to tell you right at the beginning that you have been forewarned, because I received the no bell for that presentation. So I hope you are going to work with me in the spirit of that background. And of course, that this is an ongoing personalized research for myself and what I believe innovation through education is. Dear colleagues, my small contribution today is an attempt to highlight the invaluable role that you and I play in education, in the classroom and equally outside of the classroom. I hope that you are going to appreciate my understanding of the topic, innovation through education, with the spirit of the past 26 years of experience in the classroom for myself, and more especially in being leader of management in South Africa as well as in the UAE. As an individual, I love to be able to look at all aspects of life from very diverse perspectives. I'm very excitable about looking at things from perspectives that we may not have viewed before. That is for me a natural challenge, and it fuels my passion of education. So I love looking at things from different perspectives, and I want us today to be able to affirm that living the attitude of being a lifelong learner for you and I as educators, as teachers across the globe, wherever we are, is an important part of our personal growth. Because as soon as we are lifelong learners, we become empowered teachers. And empowered teachers empower anybody else that we are in alignment with, that we are working with. I also want to explain to you that being a lifelong learner is priority for us because we impact those in our classrooms in terms of their minds currently, and more especially for their minds in the future. Let's go to the next slide. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is poverty. Ignorance is devastation. Ignorance is tragedy. And ignorance is illness. All of it stems from ignorance. So I want to quickly share with you from the slide the benefits of lifelong learning. And I'm sure that this is perhaps repetition for individuals like yourselves, because you are already part and parcel of professional development programs that are inspiring, that are impactful, creative in the innovation of what it's offering to the world. And most especially, it allows insight of individuals in different parts of the world and how we understand curriculum and how we impact curriculum in and outside of the classroom. Dear colleagues, one thing is very clear, that our ignorance cannot stop what is inevitable. And what is inevitable is that the percentage of students in and outside of our schools may currently end up with technologies and environments that have not actually been even invented yet. If we look at what's happening currently, and if we look at the trends for the future, clearly many of us, if we are realistic enough, would try to be understanding that we have really not impacted in terms of the skills and competencies that are needed for the future. The whole aspect of COVID-19 pandemic globally has indicated to us that we as educators need to be able to up our game, and especially in terms of what we understand as innovation through education. We need to break down that word in terms of a far more diverse perspective and a far more relevant perspective. I want you to think about 2 questions as I'm moving along with this presentation. And the first one is, what are we currently doing with the curriculum in our schools? And the second one is, how can we cater for the needs of our students more effectively, knowing that we are actually teaching students for the inevitable future? We are not sure exactly what kind of environments our students are going to be exposed to in the future. And this is really, really important for us to think about innovation from that perspective. Now, you may be questioning in your mind, but hello, I have a core curriculum, I have an academic curriculum. This is where, again, we need to bring focus to you and I as empowered teachers, as individuals who are already part and parcel of professional development programs, because we understand that we want more, that we need more to truly be effective in the environments that we are. The lack of clarity for our future, the students' future, must therefore expose our students to know and how to deal with the unknown. This is the key part of this presentation. Innovation for the unknown. How are we preparing our students to be able to deal with that which even we are so unclear with? Students must be familiar with change. And this, I think, is such a vital component of this presentation today. The understanding of change. Change is so dynamic. And you and I know that even as adults, how fast and furiously the world is at a pace of change, constant change. Are we equipped to deal with this change? Are we equipping our students to equally deal with change? So students must be familiar with the aspect of change as part of their normal life. And I think because of the large number of time that we spend in the classroom with our students, we have to first emulate the kind of competencies and skills that are required for change as a flexible competence. And equally, that change should be part and parcel of our normal lifestyle. It should be part of normal lifestyle, normal growth for us. Furthermore, key parts of student interaction and curriculum in schools will need to have a very firm control of understanding the emotions and feelings that impacts on the way we live. Again, I think that this is such an important component where we have to be able to introduce our students to the understanding of emotional intelligence, to how our emotions impact on you and I. Because once we have a grip on our emotions, and once we know that the world is changing at such a fast pace, we are equally then able to create a sense of calm. We are able to create a sense of flexibility where we can think on the spot, act on the spot, and live healthily, calmly, and redefine what we understand by success, what we understand by actionable innovation through our education. So emotions are very important. Students need to be able to have clear clarity on what the emotions are, how to cope, how to react, how to respond differently to the fast pace of the world, and how to actually be more impactful and effective, irrespective of the unknown, irrespective of those things that we don't know for sure. Moreover, there are three types of three types of educational philosophies that I think play a very vital role with innovation through education. And this third image here actually speaks about redesigning, re-looking at our curriculum today, whether you and I are actually equipped as individuals. Now, I'm not speaking about curriculum redesign or curriculum designing from a perspective directly from the education government itself. I'm looking at you and I as empowered educators. Are we in the position to ourselves emulate the competencies and skills that are vital? Because students see how we are in the classroom. Students respond to us the way we are, how organized we are, how flexible we are, how competent we are to deal with sudden issues within the environment. And you know this to be true because every single day we are dealing with sudden things that we never actually planned for, but it's present. Do we still continue with the syllabus? How do we continue with the syllabus? Through frustration, through anger, through irritation, or are we implementing the skills and competencies that indicates a mindset of growth innovation. A mindset of growth innovation. So when I talk about curriculum redesign or curriculum design, I'm looking at us, you and I, in the environment, how we are able to implement what we need for the students in our classroom. Because sometimes change cannot happen as fast as we would like it to from the head office, may I say. It cannot sometimes happen that way. It's a process of policy redesigning. Sometimes it may even take years. What happens to those students in between? So you and I need to be able to have that sense of strong mindset that I am the change in my classroom. I have strong command of my academic curriculum, and I have the mindset of growth and competencies and skills that is going to not just teach my children the skills and values for the future, but equally show them how it is done through my very presence in the classroom. So there are three types of philosophies that I want to be able to bring forward. And of course, you in your individual schools and countries may already be highlighting so many other phenomenal programs and philosophies. Use what works for you. These are the kind of things that I am using to as part of my ongoing research and interpretation of what is working for me as an individual in South Africa, and equally having impact globally in terms of the community work and educational work that I am currently doing. The first education philosophy that I want to talk about, and I'm sure you know about it, is the Montessori education philosophy. Montessori focuses on the curriculum that is hands-on learning, learning that is very child-centered, and students are allowed to be free in their whole education process. Students are allowed to be able to take responsibility for their learning and learn by themselves for themselves. So it is very individualized learning. Now, immediately when I think about individualized learning, I'm thinking about strength-based learning. I know what suits me, what I'm excitable about, what I'm interested in, and I'm going to pursue that. So I do appreciate Montessori for that particular philosophy. And the second philosophy that I'm really passionate about is the Waldorf education philosophy. Now, let me read this quickly. The Waldorf education is a pedagogy that strives to develop students' intellectual, artistic, and practical skills. So intellectual, artistic, and practical skills. It is an integrated, holistic approach to learning. It is threefold. And this is what I really like. It is threefold. The whole process is about thinking. So we are using our cognitive abilities, feeling, which is so vital for me as an EQ practitioner. We have to be able to feel. We have to be able to express our emotions. And the third one is to actually be actively doing, to be engaging in our education. So the three aspects of the Waldorf education that I'm really passionate about is thinking, feeling, and doing. And then the third educational philosophy that I think is really good is the Reggio Emilia, which is started in Italy. And really, it is a non-traditional learning environment. It's project-based learning. Now, one thing I know is that majority of school communities in the last few years have started moving into project-based learning because we have found already huge advantages of project-based learning. What do I love about project-based learning and the Reggio Emilia educational philosophy? One, it's non-traditional. Two, project-based. Three, it considers every child as a gifted individual. Once again, going back to the strength of the individual, going back to the strength of the child, highlighting and developing the capacity of the strength of that particular individual. Most importantly, because many of us argue, how do we do assessments then? And what I love about the Reggio philosophy is that it's ongoing assessments. Ongoing assessments simply because no child can be assessed on only one particular aspect, because growth is happening as and when. We need to be able to give cognizance of this and give the child the benefit of the doubt of his or her development model, his or her experiences as they are growing and as they are being exposed to different things. So those are the three types of educational philosophies that I'm really passionate about, and I think has so much of value and growth. And if we apply it in whatever kind of community, whatever kind of situation that you are based in, there can perhaps be far more success. And ultimately, we need to redefine educational success for us and the kind of students that we are working with. Now, my ideal situation, my ideal educational philosophy, especially keeping in consideration the topic of innovation through education, the growth mindset. My ideal curriculum is actually a combination of these three models. And I'll tell you again why I think it'll work. One, the Montessori, because it focuses on individualized strengths. And even as adults, when somebody focuses on our strengths, there is a calm automatically. We start to grow. We start to feel a little bit more confident. We start to want to then participate more freely and more actively. And this is really, really important for our students, I think, because we need to create an environment where they feel confident enough, calm enough to explore their strengths. The Waldorf, especially because it's heart-centered. I live by the heart mantra. Focus on your emotions. Be vulnerable. Allow your emotions to express itself and respond. Because of your emotions, you suddenly get to respond to the world with so much more confidence, with so much more calm attitude. And again, this is the kind of flexibility we want for the kind of students that we are teaching for the future, because we don't know the inevitable future of our students. Are we simply then creating a curriculum that's for the absolute now? Or are we truly creating and communicating the curriculum for students that we want for the future? Are we taking care of the inevitable? It's a kind of question that's very powerful and I think personal, because every single one of us has a very personalized vision and motto for how we want to impact in the education field. And the third reason that I simply love the three philosophies combined is because the Reggio is project-based and it understands that assessment is growth-based and that this kind of assessment takes place over time, not in one particular year. Very, very important point, because when we look at students in our classrooms or when we look at students from grade 8 to grade 12, and if we have been part of their growth, you can see how children are growing. It's unfair to just give them a mark simply because of what they presented at that particular time. Give them the opportunity to be exposed. Allow their strengths to be developed and exposed to a variety of their multiple intelligence to come into effect and grasp the intelligence, grasp control of the skills and competencies that are required, so that our students are given the best possible marks based on their growth. This is very, very important for me as an educational practitioner. And I think that the combination of these three philosophies is superbly important for working with the inevitable future of our students. I do believe that the skills and competencies explored in project-based learning focuses on designing, collaboration, network, and what's the other? Sharing, which is creativity as well. Project-based education focuses on these four competencies on its own. And you and I know, especially from those of us that have been hit hard with the COVID-19 pandemic, where schools were completely online, children not prepared for that. Suddenly they had to understand how to go online, how to work offline, how to network, how to communicate more effectively using technological skills, how to be able to collaborate the work. Even they had to learn how to redesign their own learning so that they can be effective. Again, these are the kind of skills that are so imperative for the inevitable future that our children are going to be exposed to. And if you and I want to be impactful, we want to be able to create a positive future, a successful future, we need to be able to take these points into consideration. But I equally feel that the heart of emotion has to be brought into all the time. I found that the students were understanding that they need to be more flexible with themselves, more gentle with themselves, because we, as the adults in the education system, were calmer, were understanding of that this is not easy. We know that the whole process for many of us was not easy equally, because it hit us like a storm. The unpredictability hit us like a storm. They created a sense of fear. They created a sense of what now? What next? So, can you imagine this kind of impact on our students' lives? So, helping students understand their emotion, understand the give and take of how they need to respond, to network, to collaborate, to share, and to redesign their mind and redesign themselves is so important for what is an inevitable future, for the kind of future that we don't know, the kind of technologies that are going to be in play in the future. We most certainly don't know what kind of work environments our students are going to be exposed to. We can have ideas, but we don't know for sure. COVID-19 pandemic has been a perfect indication of this unpredictability, and change is a must, and change is ongoing. So our mindset has to be that we need to be able to prepare our students for the kind of environments where they are going to feel absolutely effective and as successful learners. I'm sure that's a mouthful so far, but I'd like for you to be able to think about, and if you would kindly acknowledge or kindly indulge me a little bit and write your responses in the chat box for me, please. You can choose which question you want to, and Ms. Mebedeth, I'm sure you'll be able to assist me later on when we have to perhaps give some kind of feedback to the questions. The first question that I'd like for you to look at is, do you believe that empowered teachers empower? I'm going to give you a few minutes, a few seconds. I'd like for you to please answer on the chat. Do you believe that empowered teachers empower? A yes or no is good enough. Ms. Meredith, are we getting responses on the chat? Ms. Meredith, are we getting responses on the chat?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have many responses here.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much to our global partners. I appreciate your full cooperation. Thank you very much for that. And the second question is, write down one way that you as a teacher empowers your student in the classroom. Write down one way that you as a teacher empowers your students in the classroom. Again, there's no right or wrong answer because our contexts are very different, but there are key competencies and skills that are keenly important for us to be able to cater for the students' currents as well as their future. So could you kindly write down one way that you as a teacher empowers your students in your classroom? I thank you very much for that. Thank you again for your cooperation to all my colleagues online. I'm now going to move on to question 3. In one simple sentence, can you tell me what innovation through education is for you? Take into consideration what we've just listened to and your responses to question 1 and question 2. What does innovation through education now mean to you? Again, your context is very important. I thank you again, colleagues, for your contribution on the chat. I am sure we are going to be able to unpack those responses at the end of the session. Moving along, my personal input for the future is that students must know that whatever they are learning is actually far bigger than you and I. My personal input would be that students equally understand that we need as individuals to equally be able to give back to humanity. This is something that I feel very personal about and very passionate about. That whatever education we are exposed to in our school environments, all the skills and competencies that we are exposed to in our school environments has to equally be able to train us, create opportunities for us to know that we are part and parcel of humanity. Since our childhood, students have been on the receiving end. Since the time that they were in grade R, they have been part of receiving from humanity. And it is our important goal equally to be able to make them understand that there is an accountability for them and a responsibility for them to use their education within humanity, to give back to humanity at some stage in the world. They need to be able to give back. As little children, they were part and parcel of the world as receivers. And it's equally important that accountability plays its central role in education as well. And it starts again with creating a positive mindset of innovation through education, an empowered mindset through innovation in education. They need to be actionable in the education that we are offering our children. Whatever we are offering the students needs to be actionable. It has to be able to move forward. There must be some kind of momentum that we are creating, because ultimately we are responsible for holistic development of our students. Ultimately, we are responsible for the success of our students long term, not just in the classroom for that particular period of time that we have them. Moreover, as a student myself of positive psychology and as a counselor, I think it's really important that whilst we teach and train our students to gain material success, to want to be able to create a career for themselves that's very important, where they earn an income, we must also train and expose our students to the invaluable expression of oneself through giving back to society. When we were children, when our students were younger, they were receivers of the world. Now they need to equally be able to think about, what is it that I can give back? What is the mindset that I can grow into and truly be successful, helpful parts of community? How am I going to be a ripple effect of success to the world? To give back, we need actionable empowerment. You and I need to be able to understand that we don't live in isolation. Nobody lives in isolation. The whole COVID-19 pandemic was a perfect example of how I am and how my well-being is not just about me. It's equally about you. How I take care of myself, how I empower my mind, how I empower my heart to respond to the world impacts on you equally. There's a ripple effect of that. And that ripple effect happens for years on to come. And we need to be able to somehow bring in all these powerful skills into our classrooms and outside of our classroom. Again, it is an innovative mind that takes care of these kind of skills and competencies. It is an innovative, empowered teacher who understands that my presence in the classroom is not just about teaching a firm academic curriculum. It's so much more. And I urge each and every one of us to be able to please constantly relook our curriculum, relook at our practices in the classroom, and try to make sure that we are working with a very empowered vision in mind. I want to now share with you a few definitions of education and innovation that I, as an ongoing researcher and somebody who believes very strongly in positive psychology, who has a very strong spiritual background, And my take on education is really about holistic development. So the understanding of innovation through education for me is comes from these key definitions that I want to share with you. Again, you may have completely different perspectives, and that's okay. Let us use the platforms to inspire each other, to network, to share, and give perspectives that perhaps you and I may be able to impact on each other as adults, and we may be able to take that back into our classrooms and impact on those students that we are working with. After all, we have the most powerful role to play. We are the adults that students spend maximum time with. And I think we need to be able to take that to heart, the role that we play in the lives of our students. So I'm going to share with you a few of the definitions. Again, it is definitions that have worked for me in my ongoing research and in my personal capacity and expression as an education specialist. So allow me to read them through, please. Education is something which makes man and woman self-reliant and selfless. Self-reliant and selfless. Education, we want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, intellect is expanded, and by which one is able to stand on one's own feet, by Swami Vivekananda. Education is the imparting and acquiring of knowledge through teachers and learning, John Dewey. Education is the creation of a sound mind in a sound body, and a sound body that's able to create a strong sense of happiness in their lives, Aristotle. Education means knowledge, values, skills, critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. Education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, belief systems, and habits. So often we as teachers, we teach students towards a career with really no focus on we teach students how to earn an income. We focus on a particular career, on a particular vocation. And, we're focusing on their survival, which, yes, is important. But as a counselor, you would find that majority of those people in their 30s and 40s become unhappy human beings because they have misunderstood their value and their goal of life. They have not been able to translate education as part of also givers to the world. And this is something that I think we perhaps need to be able to include in our curriculum on an individual basis. School curriculum needs to offer or teach students how to think. Now, this is a topic that we have been talking about throughout the pandemic, especially when students had to now figure their own way around, where they had to go back and now to translate whatever the teacher is saying online, how to think, not just what we are saying. Again, I want to be able to stress the importance of teaching children how to think. Even we as individuals and adults need to be able to think about how do we actually think? Why are we thinking in this particular way? Be reflective practitioners and be actionable in whatever we are reflecting. Make it so that we come across and we are living values that are empowering to the generation now and equally to the generation moving forward. The importance of education is to develop a generation of innovation and creative thinkers for actionable solutions to the world's problem. We know this. COVID has shown us this. COVID-19 hit, we need to problem solve. Our children were put suddenly into positions where they had to problem solve individually. Many children were not able to cope. And it created so much of stress and so much of fear and unpredictability. But if we think about these competencies and these skills are taught through our curriculum on a daily basis consistently, we will be able to then cater for the current needs and equally for the needs of the future. I want to now look at the second word that I think is so powerful in the presentation today, and that word is my personal perspective, my personal focus on innovation. So I'd like for you to look at the specific definitions that I've used on education, and then going back to now innovation. Innovation in education means doing what's best for all students, focused on curiosity, creativity, collaboration, and problem solving. Again, the whole idea of individual holistic thinking, holistic development, not only academic specifics, looking at an individual child as a holistic being, creating a child to be able to live in the now and equally in the future, the inevitable. Innovation means solving real problems in a new and simple way to promote equitable learning to meet whatever scale of challenges students are exposed to. Innovation is about impact. It is about possibilities and change. Innovation is about impact. It's about possibility and change. If we go back to the Institute of Global Practitioners, the webinar that we are now listening to, one of the key motto is about innovation and impact. And third one is to inspire. I think that's left solely to us as individuals in the classroom. I want to now be able to share with you, I'm sure all the information that I've given you now, you may be thinking, how is it actionable? Has it actually been actionable? Are there examples of this actually coming to light in the real world? Has it been real? Is it real? And yes, I am an optimist, and I believe that if we look for it, we will find it. If you look in your very own country of institutions, organizations, NPOs, NGOs that have used their core educational values and so much more of the individual thinking of how to live, how to be successful, you would find that there are already projects in the world that are giving back to the world. It's through individuals who have used their education, their innovation through education. They've been inspired individuals, empowered individuals. And I want to share with you this today, just two examples, literally just two examples, but I'm sure that you have so many more. And when we have more time, I'd love to be able to unpack and expose myself to the examples from your particular countries as well. The very first project that I'm really passionate about is Sparsh. Sparsh is a non-profit organization based in north of India, and the two persons that I have great respect for is Ms. Swati Tripathi and Sandeep Tripathi. Actually, it started off by this beautiful young lady here who, through a very solid, firm academic qualifications, in spite of and despite the challenges in the environment that she was in, knew the value of how to think and how to move her education forward to create a kind of environment that is sustainable long-term for more empowered communities. So she used her education in that way. She used her innovation in that particular way. And I want to be able to share her NPO, which is called My Sparsh Foundation. And I would love to share with you very briefly some of the kind of activities that this organization focused on. You would notice in these pictures, there is skills development training taking place in communities that would not normally have been exposed to skills development training. Goal setting, how to empower yourself in your own home environment, how to deal with change of COVID. The individuals are the women in the communities so that there is more impact because the women in that particular community had the responsibility of the family. And we know that when you teach females, you are teaching the generation to come, because women automatically impact on the children in the house, in the home, and automatically a next generation of growth is inspired. So skills development programs by Sparsh. And I want to share with you this video. I'm hoping it's going to play. Here, they literally go into school environments where there's dilapidated schools and use their own membership. People who are equally inspired to volunteer, to use their skills, use their competencies to benefit the community. And they create environments for children to learn, beautiful environments for children to learn. I'm going to press play now, and we are going to hope that it's going to work perfectly well, just as we had planned it. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to move back. There we go. Okay, move back. Oops. Okay. That's the joy of technology. Okay. So basically, this institution went into and looked at communities where there was dilapidated school environments and used their own time, their own energies, their own skills, and created an environment that was actually beautiful for children to learn. And that particular school now caters for over 1,000 students in a village, a remote village, where children have a beautiful environment, an inspiring environment where they can learn. And it takes literally simple steps and simple efforts by individuals. The next two pictures that you are seeing on your screen is literally during COVID, the kind of projects that Sparsh was involved in: medical supplies, food supplies, and affording clothing during a very, very traumatic time of COVID worldwide. And the third one now is literally the individuals and the volunteers using again their own competencies, their own skills, and in most cases, their own time to create beautiful environments where learning can take place. Now, you and I know how important it is to create an environment of learning. And here we have volunteers who are doing just that. Can you imagine the ripple effect that these efforts, that these projects are already playing in the lives of so many children to come? They are literally hands-on giving back to communities where the next generation is going to be far more equipped, far more inspired, and far more impactful in their worlds. So that is the Sparsh schools in the north of India. And if any one of you would like to volunteer or get involved with Sparsh, we can obviously share details later on if you are interested. I'm sure they would welcome all kinds of necessary contributions. Moving on now to the second project, which is a very personalized project to me. And that is the Ramesh Lal Randir Education Project, which literally is a foundation that was started and formed. And you would notice Ramesh Lal is also my surname. This is my dad on the right-hand side and your left-hand side right now. A man who has lived with absolute courage, a man who had come from an environment that was not the healthiest or not the wealthiest, but he had understood the importance of innovation through the education that he received. And he is able to play it forward. So there is no excuse for individuals to say that my context is actually not viable. And we have set up as a family this particular foundation where young women and young girls and even communities of male and females are given opportunities to read, to empower themselves through reading, to start to attend schools for those students who cannot afford to go to schools, where funds are being available to educate themselves, to give them an up hand in the world. You would notice now, and then of course, the excitement of children wanting to participate and be part of the solution. And there are further skills development and empowerment programs organized under the banner of the Ramesh Lal Randir Education Foundation for various communities in and around South Africa, and equally on a global platform. I'm just going to move past these pictures just to give you a sense of what kind of work has been done. And then in terms of empowering government officials so that they too can be part of an effective communication channel in the world, and they empower themselves to give back more effectively. So this was the 16 days of activism in South Africa, which is part of a national awareness program where women are trained to empower themselves, because we believe that an empowered woman plays it forward. And then there are programs like Let's Talk Empowerment of various countries, with various countries, Guyana, South Africa, New Zealand, Kenya, etc. So we've understood that self-development is a superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself, magic starts to happen. Education does not mean the imparting only of verbal knowledge alone. Reaching beyond where you are is really, really important. And this is key for me in innovation in education. It is us understanding our invaluable resource. That means you and I, as individuals, are the invaluable resource to our communities that we are living in. We need to understand our core academic curriculum, and we need to be inspired enough to develop it, to develop holistic learners in our midst. Because once we do that, and once they are inspired then to give back in the future to society, we are then part of a ripple effect of creating innovation in the world, where we are solving problems, we are networking, we are communicating, we are collaborating, we are part of the solution. And it is in giving that we receive. It is in giving that we receive. Believe in the potential of that education on that which extends within and outside of the classroom. It means whatever we have passed on in each day has to pass on in the world through our efforts as educators in and outside the classroom. This is my last slide. However, if I can go to a video, I'm going to try. This is my particularly last slide. And you would notice that my second hero, the first one is my dad, who has inspired me through understanding innovation through education. And the second is South Africa's ex-president, Mr. Nelson Mandela, whom I think is a world leader. His impact, his mindset, his growth mindset has already impacted globally. And I take great respect for him, and I take great inspiration from Mr. Mandela. And his idea of education is that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And for me, as educators, this for me is really, really, really crucial and important. The idea of Ubuntu, human kindness, I am because of you. Whether I'm an adult, whether I'm a child, I am because of you. Let's empower ourselves. Let's look at diverse perspectives of academic work that we are involved in, and let's implement it. Let's be actionable in our work, and let us move forward in terms of part and parcel of creating a ripple effect of success in the world through our understanding of innovation in education. Dear colleagues, I thank you for your attention. I am deeply grateful for all your contribution. I trust that my perspective here this afternoon, South Africa afternoon, has given you some food for thought or affirmed your very practices that you are currently involved in. I want to say a special note of thanks to the Institute of Global Practitioners Worldwide. Thank you again for this opportunity, and thank you, Ms. Meredith, for chairing the session with me. I would now go on to Ms. Meredith.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Are you going to do your video? Are you going to share us your video?
I'm going to try and see if I can escape from here.
Okay.
Okay, give me a moment. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay, second.
South Africa.
Share your screen again.
Dad, you gave us the greatest gift of all, an holistic education. We are empowered children because of
I
the
can hear it,
education
ma'am,
that-
but I cannot. You're not sharing it yet.
Okay, 1 second for me.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's go back. So I'm going to go to the video. And then I'm going to go to share. Go back here. Viewing the show, share screen. Share screen, sharing here.
Tulis ka bang maliit na konti?
Share.
Hindi siya gumagana. Okay. I can
1
see it
minute.
now, but put it
Second.
in presentation mode.
Okay. So I need to then very quickly, let's see. Okay. Viewing the show. Let's try go to my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
And now the
Okay.
video?
Ramesh Lal
Now, yes.
Library.
The video, you can see it?
South Africa.
Yes, I could see some books.
Yes.
Dad,
Okay.
you
They're,
gave the greatest gift of all,
it's playing
and
now.
holistic education.
Thank you.
We are empowered children because of the educational values that Mom and you provided for us. Now, in yours and your father's name, your children are playing it forward. We know how you always worked so tirelessly for the upliftment and betterment of all people. In January 2021, you may have left us physically, but your spirit gave rise to the Ramesh Lal Randir Empowerment Libraries Initiative. Women and children from NGOs and NPOs, places of shelter, are now offered free empowerment skills training on diverse topics and books on many genres to help skill and empower themselves holistically. We believe in the potential of all. Thank you, Dad. Your life's efforts lives on and forever.
Fantastic. So that's the video.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Sarisha Ramesh Lal Komal. That was very interesting discussion, Ma'am. I am sure that the audience have gained considerable knowledge, much valuable knowledge and insight in today's webinar about innovation through education. What really caught my interest was when you mentioned about the innovation for the unknown future. This made me realize that as educators, we need to be flexible because of so many unpredictable things that might happen in inevitable future. We are responsible for the holistic. We as educators are responsible for the holistic development of our students. And also you mentioned about innovation in education is about holistic development of the learners. Well, that was really fascinating, ma'am. That was actually jam-packed of useful and interesting information. No doubt our viewers have benefited from today's webinar. The knowledge you shared will be useful to our audience because you have shared lots of interesting ideas. And if you could go back to the comments, you will see how they participated to your questions, how they answered to your question, ma'am. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time to us and sharing your knowledge, Ma'am Salisha. And we'll see you
Thank you.
again in the Q&A part of the program. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Okay, ma'am. We'll see you again in the Q&A part. Once again, I would like to remind all of you, don't forget to like, share, write comments, and tag your friends in the comment box. Your attachments encourage us to do better and provide you with our best service. Thank you for your support. We will give you the e-certificate link in the comment box. And if you encounter any problem, you can collect your e-certificate direct from our website, that is www.eduigp.com. And after collecting your e-certificate, don't forget to celebrate with IGP by your check-in. At this moment, we will now proceed to our quiz competition. Afterwards is the Q&A part. For the meantime, let's enjoy watching this short video. Okay, those who'd like to join in our quiz competition, please go to slido.com. Then our code is IGP quiz in all caps. We have already 55 participants in our quiz. Okay, get ready. So this time we have already 60 participants in our live quiz. Hello everyone. Hello to all our participants. So to those who would like to join, please go to www.slido.com. Then our code is IGP quiz. Okay, for question number 1, we have this. A philosophy that focuses on individual achievement and one's potential through education is called Protestantism or Humanism. And the correct answer is humanism. 90% of the participants get it correctly. Congratulations. Okay, we have here on our leaderboard as rank 1, Romel Jan A. Aquino, followed by Chemalin V. Rivera, and next is Nico Den S. Muro. Question number 2. What is an innovation? Is it a new invention in the culture or is it a new ideas that the culture accepts? "73% of the participants answered new ideas that the culture accepts," and that is the correct answer. So for our leaderboard, we have Romaljan C. Aquino, followed by Gina Lynn Villar Resurrection, and the third is Janeline de la Cruz. Okay, for question number 3, which reformer improved education? Is it Horace Mann or Frederick Douglass? Okay, 63 52% of the participants were not able to get the correct answer. So only 38% of the participants got it correctly. This is a race man. Okay, for our leaderboard, we have Nico Dan Asmiro, followed by Melinda Civil Hispano, and next is Lisel Gabadon. What innovation revolutionized the steel industry? Is it Abbott process or Bessemer process? So it's 51% get the correct answer. It's Bessemer process. For our leaderboard, we have the following. Rank 1 is Nico Dan Esmiro, followed by Gina Lynn B. Resurrection, and followed by Joel Bear Nasor. Question number 5. Which technological innovation did the ancient Roman introduce? Is it aqueduct or compass? Okay, 53% get the correct answer. This is aqueduct. Okay, for our leaderboard, we have Nico Dan Asmiro, followed by Gina Lynn Resurrection, and Joel Benazor. Okay, next question. What was an innovation in printing during Art Nouveau? A black and white lithographs or color lithographs? The correct answer is color lithographs. Okay, for our leaderboard, we have the following. Leah Saba, and then Lisel Gabadon, followed by Nico Dan S. Miro. Next question. We are now on question number 7. What technological innovation led to the use of cell phones and GPS? Is it computer or satellite? The correct answer is satellite. 74% of the participants get it correctly. For our leaderboard, we have the following. Rodolfo F. Alemania Jr. as rank 1, followed by Lamberto Platan as rank 2, and rank 3 is Lenny S. Saria. Okay. Question number 8. As education for women increase, fertility rate increase along with it. Is it true or false? The correct answer is false. 52% of the participants get it correctly. For our leaderboard, we have still Rodolfo F. Alemania Jr., followed by Lamberto S. Pilatan Jr., and then Leia S. Saria as rank 3. And question number 9. Which Mongol innovation helped faraway lands connect with each other? Is it mail system or universities? The correct answer is mail system. And for our last question, significance of the study reveals the variables that will not be covered in the study. Is it true or false? The correct answer is false. 77% of the participants get it correctly. Okay, congratulations to our top 10 winners. For number 1, we have Lamberto S. Pilatan, followed by Rodolfo Alemania. And for number 3, we have Nico Den S. Miro. And then rank 4, we have Romel Jancy Aquino. Then 5 is Gina Lynn Resurrection. Number 6 is Leia Saria. And then number 7 is Roldan Familiar. And then number 8 is Charina Aureliano. Number 10 is Jeffrey Salem. And number 10 is Flor de Lisa Montero. Congratulations to our top 10 winners of our live quiz competition. You'll be receiving your quiz completion certificate in a little while. This time, I would like to invite everyone, please don't forget to like, share, write your comment, and tag your friends in the comment box, because your attachments encourage us to do better and provide you with our best service. We will now proceed to the Q&A part of the program after a short video. Okay, once again, let's welcome back our speaker for today's webinar. Welcome back, Ma'am Sarisha. Okay, for our participants, you may start sending your questions now.
See what's happening? It's just ending.
If you have questions, let's check the comment box.
Hello, everyone, again. Thank you so much for your comments. I sincerely appreciate it. You feel free now to ask any questions that you want, and I'm going to try my best.
Okay, ma'am, while waiting for their questions, I would like to ask something. You mentioned about innovation for the unknown. How can we as educators, how can we do that? Innovation for the unknown. How can
Innovation. We don't need to only focus on our core academic curriculum. I started off by saying that it's empowered teachers that empower. So using platforms like this here, and I want to congratulate all the individuals that are online from the many different countries already. You already are, experiencing and living the values of an empowered teacher because you want to learn. It's about lifelong learning. So that in itself is immediately such a powerful thing, because you represent the kind of vision you want in education or understand in education in your classroom. So even if you are teaching mathematics, there are still the understanding of how to deal with calm, the unexpected, how to be a problem solver, how to understand the world, your examples that you can offer the students, your very presence as an adult educator in your classroom is the ambassador for the values that you want to deal with the unexpected, the unexplained, the unexplored future.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful answer, ma'am. Our next question is from Ginny Chris Ballesteros. Ma'am Sarisha, do you think numerical rating of students are important at this time of educational situation?
Sorry, repeat that question. I didn't get you.
Do you think this numerical rating of students are important at this time of educational situation?
Oh, that's a very emotional question for me. And that's the reason why I said that my ideal educational philosophy is actually a combination of the Montessori, Waldorf, and the Reggio Emilio, because I don't believe that we can actually just assess a student based on one particular thing. I think it's really important to be able to look at a student holistically. It's important for us because we are the first adult that a child or a student is in the classroom that's going to become confident enough, start to believe in themselves, and trust enough who they are as individuals. So if we are already rating them and creating the kind of labels in the school environment for students, how is that going to impact in their lives long term? So for me, on a personal level, I'm not very excitable about saying you are the number one or you have so much of growth that you need to go through. I just think focus on the strengths of the individuals and treat all students already in the way that they know they are the greatest resource. We need to be so aware of our students and tap into the strengths and the core values that we want to make sure that they are excelling in the world. I don't personally like the whole numerical rating of students, although I can see its value in the world.
Understand that.
Although I can see its value in the world, but on a personal level, I think as an EQ practitioner, especially as somebody, as the adult in the classroom, children are so impressionable. They are looking for us to define who they are. So we need to take that personally. And we need to know that we have a responsibility to develop a sense of confidence and well-being in a child. And for those people who believe that developing a false sense of confidence is what will happen, not so. You take a child from where they are. It means extra work on you and I. It means that you and I have to be so much more present and always upping our skills and empowering ourselves to understand what's invaluable. But it is doable. The fact that you are already on a platform like this means you want to know. You already have an inquiry based. So I'm not a firm believer in numerical ratings, although I do understand its value. But for me, one-on-one with my students, it's holistic development over a period of time, because that's how growth takes place for me.
That was actually beautiful, ma'am. I like it very much. Okay, our next question is from Lamberto Pilatan. What three key principles are important and needed by us educators in order to bring innovations to our present educational system? How? And thank you.
Thank
Key
you. You're
important
welcome.
principles.
You have to have the attitude of a lifelong learner. I have to be humble enough to know that irrespective of my academic qualifications, irrespective of me already being, more than 2 decades in education, there's always room for learning. And I have to be able to have that growth mindset and that open to learning. That for me is key and critical for any person working in community environments, working in the environment of other individuals, most especially where we have children who are so vulnerable, so much more younger than you and I as the adults are. So the first one would be to have the attitude of a lifelong learner. The second one is to, be an EQ practitioner. I found that in education, I just started also talking to students, and I said to them, the thing that is important for me is being organized as a teacher. I need to know my curriculum really well. I need to be organized in my curriculum so that I fulfill the responsibilities of the school and the curriculum. And I then need to be able to know that I have to use my EQ, my emotions, to build relationships. Because as soon as I build relationships, I have found in my experiences over the last 2.5 decades that as soon as you are sincere enough in developing relationships with staff members and students, whether they are 12 years old or whether they are 30 or 40 or 50 years of age, you sincerely want to be in a harmonious, in a sincere relationship of strength-based humility. I humble myself that I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to connect with another person. You will find that students excel in that kind of relationship. So for me, to answer again, attitude of lifelong learner, I'm always ensuring that I'm organized as an individual. I know my curriculum, I organize my way effectively, and I deliver it effectively. And the third one is to be an EQ practitioner, to build relationships, not break relationships.
Okay, wonderful answer, ma'am. Actually, I was reminded that when we talk about the 21st century learners, it refers not only to our students, but also to us as educators.
Actually,
Okay.
we always say that the students are the center of the program. We and the students are center of the program because we are the adults that's going to impact and impart to those students. So if we don't have the correct vision, then what are we going to actually impact and impart on?
So having a correct vision is very important for us as educators. Our next question is from Terrivel Estrada. What innovation can apply in conducting reading for non-readers?
A consistency of practice. The consistency of practice. Whatever we are doing, a consistency of that practice is really, really important.
So in reading, we need
Keep
to be
reading.
very consistent. Yes,
Keep reading. Keep reading and keep reading. That constant consistency is what's going to give a sense of flow, a sense of new meaning, recognition of things, and remembering things. And of course, each time that you are learning and reading something new, you are also growing side by side with that information. So it allows you then to grow, but it has to be a consistent effort. We have to know that I always come back to this. I am the adult in that classroom. I need to be able to impact and impart the kind of values that are important, because when I know better, I should be able to do better.
Okay, for our next question, we have it from Mary Jane Hidalgo. What innovation in education system are being implemented during this time of COVID-19 pandemic? How effective are these innovations in the delivery of quality education?
Well, of course, most of COVID-19 has offered a project-based learning where students were forced to actually learn how to network and share. They were forced to be able to redesign and design their own learning curriculum because the offline lessons didn't afford the kind of quality one-on-one or face-to-face kind of education. Although, that's arguable. There were some projects and programs that worked phenomenally well. But one needs to look again at the context and the environments of different students. Not all students were given the privilege or have the privilege of having technology at their fingertips, having Wi-Fi at the fingertips. So much of loss had equally taken place. So we need to be mindful of that. But project-based learning certainly, worked pretty well. And I do think that, students were given the opportunity to learn on their feet also, who they are, how to deal with change, how to be flexible as individuals.
Okay, next question is from Anne Asherto. What is the significance of innovation in education for you?
I am the ambassador of my life. I am the ambassador of my life. How am I using this birth? And if you look at the definitions of education and innovation that I use, they're quite specific to the vision that I have as an individual for who I am and what contribution I want to make to the world. It requires a very reflective individual, not an arrogant person, but somebody who is reflective enough and critical enough to know what's going on in the world and what they want to contribute to the world. So for me, it is, if I've chosen to be in education, I need to know that I'm the ambassador in that field. How I live, the choices I make, and the kind of lifestyle I live impacts on my students over and above the core curriculum that I'm teaching in my classroom.
Okay, actually, that completes the Q&A part for today, ma'am. Thank you so much for all your marvelous responses to the questions of our audience, and also to all the participants who actively participated in our Q&A part. Thank you so much for your questions. I hope you have gained understanding of today's webinar. Thank you once again, Ma'am Sarisha Rameshal Kumal. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time to us. You are really a wonderful and brilliant speaker, I should say. That was a fantastic presentation, ma'am. Thank you and congratulations to you. We hope to see you again here in IGP, ma'am.
Thank you
Do you
so
have
much, Miss Meredith.
Yes, do you have any final words or parting words for our audience?
Absolutely. I'd love to again take the opportunity. I don't want to ever miss an opportunity to say to every single person, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with you. You are already doing a phenomenal responsibility in your school environments, in your country. Be gentle, but be a consistent lifelong learner and keep it going. You have already the right attitude. I wish you well, and I thank you for being part of my life through this webinar. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. I look forward to seeing you and interacting and connecting with you again. Thank you to the Institute of Global Professionals. I am indeed grateful and honored. And thank you, Ms. Meredith, for today.
Thank you, ma'am. We are also very much privileged to have you tonight. Thank you so much, Ma'am Celicia.
Goodbye.
Bye, ma'am. Okay, well, that concludes our program for today. To my fellow knowledge seekers, I would like to thank all of you for attending today's session. Hopefully, you have learned something new today that will be useful in your life. If you learned something or we have been helpful to you, even just in a little bit, please leave a review on our page. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our Facebook page, Facebook group, and YouTube channel. Don't forget to collect your e-certificate and give a check-in with IGP. Please spread the information about IGP to your friends. And then we have here now our code. Our code for tonight is IGP4863, and today's program name is Innovation Through Education. The date today is January 14. You may take a screenshot of this and you may get your certificate later after our program. Remember, without code, no one is eligible for certificate. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime. Without an account on our website, you can visit, but you cannot do anything functional. So please go to www.eduigp.com. Then choose today's program name, that is Innovation Through Education, and then click Enroll Now. After clicking Enroll Now, you may enter the code and then click Get Your Certificate, and then the certificate will be auto-downloaded to your device. Thank you so much, everyone. We hope to see you all again in our next webinars. Thank you. Stay happy. Stay safe. Once again, this is Marbet from the Philippines, signing off. To God be the glory. Bye, everyone.